Welcome everyone to Sports Talk with your coach, Kevin Swanky. I'm your coach, Kevin Swanky. Lloydminster boy, Lloydminster product, everything you can say, I'm your boy. Um, People have been asking me to do this, Sports Talk. They always come up to me, Kevin, why don't you do some TSN, some kind of talk like that? Well, I think it's time. One of my friends have been asking me to do it. Got some support over Facebook, so here we go. We're gonna talk about a little sports. I love talking about it, and you can't really say that everyone else does either. This is gonna be a weekly episode thing, maybe a few championship stuff where we have talks about the Super Bowl, the Olympic wrap up that ends up this weekend, maybe the Stanley Cup when it comes around, NBA championship, World Cup, stuff like that. You never know what's gonna important. Maybe even some big sports news that comes up, say like a brawl, a death, stuff like that. We're gonna be talking mostly top stuff: NHL, NBA, NFL, CFL, UFC, MLB, and maybe some WWE, seeing as I'm a huge WWE guy. We might talk a little bit about golf, soccer, tennis, and little mentions about local stuff from Lloydminster, local sports, basketball, football, um, Alberta stuff, just stuff that keeps sports running in this area. And we might also talk about a little bit about horse racing, just stuff no one really cares about, but it might be big in the news at that point. So let's start it off here. We got Olympics. Olympics women's soccer. Our Canadian girls lost 4-3 to the Americans in what most people are saying is a screw job. Uh, Most people feel that the referee from Norway screwed us over in about the 80th minute, where we were called on a 6-second uh, delay of game on the goalkeeper not holding the ball long enough, for the goalkeeper holding the ball too long, and that led up to a free kick. We are up 3-2 at the time. The free kick went off one of our Canadian defenders in a handball situation, and the penalty went in, leading to the extra time. And as the extra time went on, we had a little bit of a meltdown in the last minute of the extra time, and the U.S. scored on us, leading to a 4-3 loss. Now, most people are saying, oh, the referee screwed us, the referee screwed us, the referee screwed us. But can you really blame it on the referee? We've all left a sports game being like, that ref was just straight terrible. You can't even say that you haven't done it, because I've done it too, and I even ref basketball. Um, so, biggest thing, can't really hate on the ref, but we lost. And it feels a little disheartening seeing as our girl, Christine Sinclair, put on the show of her life. Hat trick in a semi-medal match to move on to the gold, but doesn't even able to move on after a performance like that. A little heartbreaking, but we gotta move on. Shit happens, and it's the way things go. Uh, we'll move on tomorrow, Thursday. We'll be playing France for the bronze medal. Can't and You have to feel that we will take the bronze. France is a good team, but we're a good team also. So I'm hoping we'll take home the bronze, add to our medal count, and yeah, other things. FIFA was also going to investigate after the bronze medal match of what the Canadian women said. But can you really be mad and investigate things after having people shove cameras in their faces and ask questions about what they felt about a game that they just lost, heartbreaking, to move on to a championship game? I know I'd say some things that'd be rude, uh, not even things I actually meant at the time looking back at them, but you never know what's going on. So I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I wouldn't do that, because we all would. Heat of the moment, we're going to say some shit that we don't mean. So things happen. Also, another big news happens is that the Norwegian ref, even though she might have refed a bad game, she's not refing in the gold medal or the bronze medal match. Could be FIFA saying that they did feel on our way, but I'm not going to look too much more into that. Next thing, our medal count. So far, on a Wednesday, day 11, I believe it is, we have the USA at 81 medals, China at 77, Russia at 52, Great Britain at 48, Germany at 32 to round out the top 5, and Canada sitting at 11th with 14 medals. With picking up 3 today in canoeing, kayaking, and wrestling, which is pretty impressive if you must say so myself. I mean, summer games usually isn't our thing, but you can't say that it isn't a bad thing that we are getting a few medals, even if they are not a gold. Usually, most of them are silver or bronze. Um, but do we really, if you really think about it, is there too many events in the Summer Olympics? I know I'm kind of thinking about this a little bit, and I've talked to a few people about it, but can you think about it? Comparing the Summer Games in day 11 to the Winter Games from 2010, we have the top five medal counts was the U.S. with 37, Germany with 30, Canada with 26, Norway with 23, and Austria rounded out the top five with 16. That's not even. There's too many medals. Like comparing 81 to 31, that's a little bit of a difference right there. So I want to know what you guys feel about this. You know, you have those things where you have medal count and stuff where it's like, is there too many events? Just straight up, is there too many events? I know if I had the choice, I'd take out race walking. Is that even a sport? Can you really consider race walking a sport? It's moving your hips really, really fast and then looking like you're walking. It's a race. It's a marathon. Think about it that way. Uh, Cycling BMX, there's the X Games for that. Equestrian, enough said. Gymnastics should have their own thing. Really, do we really need gymnastics in an Olympics? I do enjoy watching high bar, vault, shit like that, but and sailing, another toss. But that's really all I'm going to talk about for the Olympics right now. We might get to it on Monday, where we will talk more about the Olympics and closing ceremonies looking toward 2016. The other thing I would actually talk about in the Olympics is when I was watching the opening ceremonies and talking about how big the Olympics, Summer Olympics has got, Brian Williams brought up a different thing where I kind of think about this. Summer Olympics is getting too big. You look back at the '04 Athens Olympics, great Olympics. I'm not saying it wasn't a good Olympics, but he brought up a point where Greece is in such an economic crisis that most of the venues where things were played were are now in rubble. Stone, like just rubble stadiums. You built these special stadiums just for the events, and now they're rubble. I mean, at least with the Winter Olympics, yeah, we use mountains and stuff, so you can't really tear those down. But that you should be able to reuse. Swimming pools, you should be able to reuse. Equestrian pits, you can use them as fields. I don't understand it, but I know Greece is in an economic crisis. We'll see how Britain does with their stuff. And I know I'm not really sure about what they did in Beijing, but the Chinese are whack. They could probably turn those into factories or something. But now we're going to move on to some CFL and NFL. The NFL preseason starts tomorrow. The Hall of Fame game has started already, but we are looking into NFL preseason here. My team, Pittsburgh Steelers. But I know there is some other people out there, different opinions. I know we have most of my friends, Colts fans, Patriots. We've got talking of big teams here. Ravens is another big one. But it's the things that go on. Biggest story looking into this NFL preseason is Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is starting with the Denver Broncos right now, and it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with the new offense and not being in a Colts jersey. I can't wait to see Peyton Manning in a Denver Broncos uniform. I mean, I've always been a Steelers fan, so I've always hated the Colts. But because I've hated the Colts, I've hated Peyton Manning. But him going to a different team and seeing how Andrew Luck is going to do this year with the Colts, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to do it. I'd love to see how Andrew Luck is going to perform with the Colts, but I'm even more interested to see how Peyton Manning is going to do with the Denver Broncos. He's still in the AFC. He's in the weakest division of the NFL, so it's going to be interesting things to see. These weeks coming up, I'm going to be previewing the different divisions and talking about waiting and talking about how everything's going to get ready getting into the NFL regular season where everybody's waiting for it. Fantasy football is another big thing. You get to see what your players you might pick are going to do coming up. Um, Regular season. Maybe someone's going to get injured during the preseason. People train hard. It's going to happen. So you're all going to start working around your draft picks. I know usually my top picks are always Drew Brees, and I usually like to get like a guy like um, a good wide receiver like Dwayne Bowe or another, just a good receiver. Um, but the biggest story coming out so far in the NFL preseason is last week at the Jets preseason camp, they had a 10-man brawl going into their thing. So you got to think, is the Tebow Sanchez thing really getting to the Jets? Do they need some kind of change there? Is Rex Ryan really doing the job? I feel no. I think this is really going to start to ball roll, and we're going to be looking at a Jets team that might go 4-12, 3-13. It's going to be a tough season for the Jets. They're in a tough division with the Patriots. Um, can't think of who else is in that division. But the Patriots are that big team in that division, and I don't think the Jets are anywhere near the level to compete with them. They got to play the Patriots twice, and more likely, I think the Giants will they have to play twice. That's going to be a tough division to come out of for the Jets, and even harder in the tough AFC where you have teams coming on like Kansas City. Miami's going to be an interesting team this year. Um, Buffalo might be interesting, but doubt it. So it's going to be tough to say. Now to a little CFL action. We got tomorrow. We got the CFL on Thursday Night Football. We got some Calgary Stampeders versus Hamilton Ticats. Henry Burris facing his old team. Kevin Glenn facing his old team. I'm a Stampeders fan. I'm going to be cheering for my Stampeders, and I hope you will be too. And Friday night, we got the big Friday night football clash between the Edmonton Eskimos, Saskatchewan Iders. I know I'm going to be at that game. I'm going with a couple buddies, and I hope you, Maya, will be enjoying watching the game at home, maybe even live at the stadium. Um, but this comes to my new thing, the pick of the week. Picks of the week. I'm going to throw out a couple things that I think are going to be interesting. Might talk a little bit, might be baseball, NHL, stuff like that. If you want to make some money, put some sports bets down, want to take my decisions, you might want to do this. So my thing this week, I know Edmonton's the underdog. They're at home. They're playing the almighty Rough Riders. Um, they are going to be the underdog going into this game. So if you want a good money pick, your Edmonton Eskimos are them. Their defense works hard. They're undefeated at home. You can't say much more. Saskatchewan, they've lost two in a row, both fourth quarter blowouts. I have a feeling they're going to come out slow and maybe even do something else. It's going to be tough for them to do anything on this field. Stands will be roaring as it is. Everyone's going to be coming from Saskatchewan and Edmonton. It'll be a great game to go see and a great game to watch. You should watch it. And the final thing we got here, UFC 150 on Saturday. Big headlining fight of the lightweight title between Frankie Edgar and the champion Benson Henderson. Rematch from 144 where Henderson won a unanimous decision 49-46, 48-47, 49-46, and Edgar felt that he won that fight. By replays and things I watched from that thing, there was nowhere close that Frankie Edgar won that fight. And I know there might be people saying that he won, but I don't think it's going to be worth it. I think it'll be another lock of the week. It's going to be Benson Henderson with the win in a third round knockout over Frankie Edgar, and you can pick me on that. You can lock me on that. I have put my bet down, and I hope you will go with my decision. Frankie Edgar, he's a boy. I love the way he fights, but I don't think he's got the thing to take on Benson Henderson. Benson Henderson's too big, too athletic. Frankie's more of a comeback kid kind of thing, and I don't think he's got this comeback kid in him this time. Other than that, the UFC 150 card, kind of a weak card. Medium-sized names, but it's still a weak. It's a weaker card. You got the Cowboy Don Cerrone going up against Melvin Gillard. Jake Shields going up against Ed Herman. Yushin Okami versus Buddy Roberts, and Justin Lawrence versus Max Holloway. So if you're thinking about getting the card, I would not suggest it. I'd go to a BP's or a Brew House, somewhere like that. Get actually watching the pay-per-view. No, don't pay the $50. Go watch it somewhere. It'll be more worth your time, more worth your money, and that's about all. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm going to reply to all the comments that are left. I love talking sports, and I hope you do too. This is Coach Kevin Swanky out, and I hope you enjoy.